Hi guys, happy Wednesday. Excuse me. Welcome to our Travel Talk Live, which we do on our Facebook over at Star Stuff Travel. All about anything that's happening in the travel industry world, what we're seeing here at Star Stuff Travel with the agency, or maybe what clients are booking and different things like that. Today, I am excited to talk to you about our travel time going to the island of Oahu post-COVID. So I have been lucky enough to visit some of the Hawaiian Islands about 4 times over the past 2 years, including Oahu. So it is slightly different now that we're in a different world in the post-COVID era. And I'm going to go over what our experience was traveling to the beautiful island of Oahu. So if you did watch our last Travel Talk Live, I did talk a little bit about the specific requirements that are required from the United States. Anyone traveling here in the United States, traveling over to Oahu, obviously, which is still part of the United States, they do have specific requirements because they are so far off from the mainland that if they were ever to get hit with COVID really bad, it could be very awful for them. So they have some requirements in place just for the safety of everyone. So before heading to Oahu, we did have to register ourselves with an account. Each specific traveler in our party had to register with the Safe Travels Hawaii website. Of course, if you are traveling to Oahu, you could reach out to your Star Stuff Travel Planner and they can give you all of that information, which website, and they can walk you through all of that information. Once you do register for your account, you do then have to have a COVID test 72 hours before your departure to the island. You take the test, and they do, unlike other islands and Caribbean destinations, they only have a specific certain amount of trusted travel partners that they use to do their testing through. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing the correct lab and that it is part of their trusted traveler partners. So we actually utilized Vault, and Vault was great because they sent us the tests right to our house. You then, 72 hours prior to your departure, log on to a Zoom link and you conduct the test online with a medical representative watching you do that online. So it is slightly different because it is not a nasal swab. You do actually utilize your saliva into a tube while the medical rep is watching you, and then you mail it away. And we had our COVID results within 24 hours of mailing them. And once you have those results, you then log back into your Safe Hawaii account and you upload them. 24 hours before your departure, you're going to log back into that account and you're going to answer a health questionnaire. Now, I know this does maybe sound a little overwhelming, but it really is very easy. Very, very easy. Once you do answer the health questionnaire, which is just a handful of questions, things like, do you have a fever? Are you taking medication that's masking a fever? And things of that nature. And as long as everything's all good, you are approved and you receive your QR code. Now, this QR code is exactly what's needed for you to travel to the island of Oahu and actually skip the mandatory 10-day quarantine that's in place over there. So there are a couple different ways that they go about seeing the QR code. So for us, we actually flew from Newark, New Jersey. We did a nonstop flight, which was just shy of under 11 hours from Newark to the island of Oahu into Honolulu Airport. And when we got to the Newark airport, there were quite a few United reps in little desk areas that were scanning the QR code and then placing a paper United bracelet on our right wrist. Now, what that did was it allowed us, when we did deplane from the aircraft over in Honolulu, to actually go right through passing all of the health screening and directly go and get our luggage and begin our vacation. Now, for those that did not get the bracelet, they were subject to standing in line and having to do a health screening. So, for instance, when we got off the aircraft, we were separated into those with the bracelet went to the left and those without a bracelet went to the right. We walked right through, and within moments we're at our baggage claim, whereas we did walk past a very long line of people that were waiting for the health screening. Now, unfortunately, one of our agents did say that in Atlanta, her clients who were flying Delta did not have anything set up like this. There were no wristbands. The reps did not know about it. I'm not quite sure how that is possible. But her clients did need to do the health screening when they landed. However, unlike our experience of seeing a very long line in Honolulu Airport, her clients were able to get off and do the health screening very quickly. So depending on where you're flying from is what I believe is going to be if you're going to get the bracelet and be able to skip through the line when you land or not. Now, another big issue in all of the United States, but specifically it's pretty bad in the area of the Hawaiian Islands, is car rentals are extremely scarce. So we were not able to secure a car rental. A lot of the car rental companies in the Hawaiian Islands were forced to actually sell off their fleet during the pandemic, during the really rough times when no one was traveling. So there are very little cars on the island right now. However, we did hear that they are shipping many cars in from the state of California, and you can see a lot of California license plates there. So hopefully that's going to change soon. But because there are not a lot of car rentals, they are seeing a lot of customers and guests actually renting U-Haul trucks just to have transportation on the island. Personally, I don't think that I would be willing to rent a U-Haul truck to have transportation, but people are doing it. So because of that, U-Haul, Lowe's, Home Depot, any of the companies that have those smaller pickup trucks for rent have started putting strict guidelines in place so the locals actually have those trucks for the reasons they're meant to have and for renting them. So some of the tips that I would say from not having a car rental, we did just book a transfer company to get from the airport to the hotel and back from the hotel back to the airport. It was reasonably priced, and I will say the local drivers were very happy to have us there, saying that they're very excited that the islands are opening and more people are visiting, because you have to remember a lot of their economy does rely on tourism. So it was very nice to be able to hear that they are very excited. Mostly everyone we spoke to that was local have had their vaccinations and feel very comfortable with the world opening back up, which was very nice. Getting to the airport and waiting for our shuttle to be picked up. To be honest, we did wait for about 45 minutes. When he did arrive, he did apologize. But again, because there are really no car rentals, the shuttle companies are really swamped, which in the travel world for us is a good thing, because we love to hear that the travel industry is back and our fellow travel peeps are busy. Another thing we did, because we did not have a car rental, is A lot of the tours that we did book for visiting the islands and different things we wanted to do actually included a pickup from our hotel. So please do not get discouraged if you're not able to find a car rental. Think about having one of the Star Stuff travel planners help you with those tours, because those tour companies, many of them, will come right to your hotel and pick you up. This is great, and although you typically always want to have a car rental when you're visiting any of the islands, to me, not having to drive and being able to do some of these tours and just relax and be a passenger was actually more of a vacation than anything. So we did things like the Circle Island tour. That was an 8-hour tour, picked us up from our hotel and took us to all of the local destinations that were touristy. I've done a lot of them before, but my husband and my daughter, who came with me this time, have not done them, and it was really very nice to have someone pick us up from the resort and bring us to all the different destinations. Now, some of the different things that I've noticed pre or post COVID is definitely with going to visit Pearl Harbor, which I've done pre-COVID in another different type of travel world. So for those of you that have visited Pearl Harbor, you know that you would go and you would be able to go into some of the museums, and then you would be able to get onto the ferry boat and head over to the USS Arizona Memorial. However, now you are required to book a reservation date and time to get on that ferry boat. So it's not as easy as just showing up to Pearl Harbor and being able to get on that boat and visit that memorial, which when you do go to Oahu, you do want to visit Pearl Harbor. It's a huge part of our history here in the United States and in America, and it's very important. It's a beautiful place to go and pay your respects to many people that have passed away and perished in those attacks of Pearl Harbor. So if it is something that you do want to do when you head over to Oahu, I highly suggest either making sure months in advance you're going to be looking at that reservation system to get on that boat over to the memorial, which through the National Parks system is free. However, since we did not have a car rental and I did not want to worry about trying to get that reservation, we actually booked a tour called the Half Day Salute to Pearl Harbor through one of Star Stuff Travel preferred tour companies. And not only did they come to our hotel to pick us up, they actually took care of getting that reservation for the boat over to the USS Arizona Memorial. So again, yes, having the car rental is always great, but it's not the end of the world. We were able to do a lot of things because of these great tour companies that come and pick us up directly from the hotel. So again, visiting Pearl Harbor is different now in this new world, and you definitely want to make sure that you are aware of those changes. Something else that I really enjoyed doing because we did not have the car rental is we ended up doing a food delivery from Foodland, which is a local grocery store on the island of Oahu. We stayed at the Hilton Hawaiian Village Resort, which is one of the, it's not one of the, it is the largest resort property on the island of Oahu. And we stayed in the Lagoon Tower, which is part of the Hilton Grand Vacations section of that resort. It had a full kitchen, which visiting any island in Hawaii is very expensive when you add in the cost of food, because food is much, much more expensive in Hawaii. So it was nice to be able to save a couple dollars with having Foodland deliver some breakfast and lunch and snack deliveries for us and utilizing that full kitchen. We really enjoyed having that. Something else that was very different during our time there was the luau that we attended. So I've been blessed enough to have participated in 4 or 5 true Hawaiian luau's in my lifetime over the past few years, and I've loved every single one of them. But this one was modified because of COVID safety precautions. So the luau was the Waikiki Starlight Hilton Hawaiian luau that is right at the resort where we stayed. It used to be on the rooftop at the resort, and now it is done right on the grass in front of the lagoon tower where we stayed. So if you're not familiar with the property, the grass in front of the lagoon tower actually is right off of the beach area, and there's also a walkway around it. So one of the things that I did not appreciate for the price of the luau was that those who did not want to pay for the luau could bring their dinner, maybe a $30 dinner from around the corner, and sit on the beach or sit on the walkway and watch the entire luau show for free. So that was kind of a bummer, knowing that we paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars for that luau. Some other modifications to this specific luau, and I imagine to other luau's that you might want to check on before you book, is that when you do enter a luau, typically when you enter, the host will put a beautiful flower lei on you. It's very Hawaiian, and their culture is so amazing, but they are not allowed to touch you. So when you enter, the leis are laying on a table and you have to put it on yourself. So something that we thought was cute was I put mine on my daughter and my daughter put mine on me. Another difference in this is that you only sat with your travel party. So while this may be a pro for some of you and you may enjoy only being seated with your party, for me personally, when I go to a luau, I love to talk to people. I love to sit with many other people visiting Hawaii from different areas of the world. I love to hear their stories, and it just is part of that travel experience that I personally really enjoy. So that was kind of a bummer, but for some of you that do not like to have to share your table with others, this may be a plus for you. Another downside to me is that the buffet and open bar that you typically walk up to and get your own food is no longer a thing because of COVID safety precautions, which I completely understand. They deliver the food to you at your table, so you are missing getting up and seeing their beautiful display of food, which to me is part of the true Hawaiian luau experience. So those were some differences, and again, some of you who have never been to Hawaii may not even realize those are modifications that are made in a luau, and some of you that have been to a luau may actually enjoy those modifications. I did expect to go to Oahu and really see a ton of people in masks, very social distanced, because they are so far from the mainland that I know that they're very nervous of getting overburdened with COVID. But I'm going to be honest, they were very lax, and most of the locals we spoke to felt very comfortable because they said most of their islanders have already gotten the vaccination. So it was a much more relaxed feeling than I expected. It was a pleasant surprise, but it was definitely different. So now that you know all of that, that we have gone through, it was a fabulous trip. It was wonderful. I would highly recommend, if you're able to get out to any of the Hawaiian islands, they do need our help, just like any other destination that relies on tourism. We're all in this together. We're really trying to overcome a really bad year that we had in the travel industry, and Hawaii is ready to welcome you. We saw a lot of travelers. All of our flights going and coming back were full. We were offered vouchers if we gave up our seats because of the flights being sold out. So now is the time. We do have quite a few agents that have been booking trips out to some of the Hawaiian Islands, and I will say that availability is getting smaller and smaller for the whole rest of the year because of how many people have put off their travel plans last year, had to cancel or reschedule, and people just saying, I'm not waiting for those bucket list trips anymore. I'm just going to take them. So if you have any interest in visiting any of the Hawaiian Islands or anywhere else, I would definitely say now is the time to start making those plans and getting everything on the books. So if you are interested for more information, give us a call at 1-800-314-0624. Reach out to us at info@starstufftravel.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe. And if you're watching this on Facebook Live, we have many more Facebook Live videos. Head over into the archives to watch them. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Have a great week. See you soon.